All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to Apostle and Elders in New York, GMS. Salutations to you, Akim, that's teaching the truth, putting your lives on the line for it. My name is Maya Ka'ala Bun Gad with Chicago branch of Great Millstone. I'd like to make a disclaimer that we are not black Hebrew Israelites. We are Israelites. The Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And speckled birds are scattered abroad. Speckled birds are Israelites who look like other nations, but their father paternal bloodline go back to the 12 patriarchs of Israel. We are not, again, we're not black Hebrew Israelite. Black is a color, not a nationality. We are not affiliated with any black identity extreme groups. We're not affiliated with any other extreme groups. We are not affiliated with Islamic groups. We are not affiliated with other Israelite groups. And I'm just going to address this man right here, American Cholo, man. All right, so he been on for a couple weeks ranting about, Issachar, so-called Mexicans. They don't get enough media cover. And he don't understand what the heck is going on. He don't know what's going on. Because, cause right here he says, black woman calls black male hypocrisy, is she a sellout? All right, I'm gonna play what she said. I'm gonna address things.
The racist is you. It's because that white guy killed that. You think they're racist? The racist, the Black Lives Matter. Go to Chicago. They don't have schools. And they die every day. They don't matter. Because you can get attention from that. Group of hypocrites. Go to Southeast DC, Northeast. Tell them Black Lives Matter. If it matters, it should matter everywhere. You guys are hypocrites. Attention seekers. Attention seekers. Black lives should matter everywhere. It doesn't take a white cop to kill a black person to matter. So I'm here today because I heard about the demonstration on, the George Floyd event, the situation, which I'm going to be honest about it. It's wrong that, anything like that should happen. Okay? It's very wrong. My problem is it shouldn't be an opportunity for a group of people to use that as an excuse or to come across as victims. No one is a victim here. The only victim here is George Floyd. Let's be very clear. Everybody knows that black kills black more than anything. You know that. It doesn't take a white person to kill them for you to come out. Hypocrites. Bunch of hypocrites. Black lives matter only when a white person touch a black person. Do you know how many black kids got killed in Northeast DC this morning? What did you do? You guys are the racists. That's the Black Lives Matter. Then they will take you seriously. Everybody thinks you guys as a joke.
What joke? You bring go out there and do it. What joke?
What are you doing for the Chicago kids who are dying every day?
What you doing?
Do you go there and tell them Black Lives Matter? Make me go. Make me go.
So supportive, but I'm going.
Make me go. As an American citizen, I'm proud of this country. I love this country. I don't want my country to be portrayed like this. We have a problem. That agreed. We have a problem in our country. Agreed. Okay? Too much violence. But it should not be categorized as a symbolism for racism on blacks. No. We are in a free country. Let's be very clear. We have foreign news media here. Our country is going to be portrayed the way they want our country to be portrayed, and which is not accurate. My point was that black kids in Chicago get killed every single day. Where is the Black Lives Matter in Chicago? Where are they? When black people kill black people, they don't come out and do this crap. The only time they do this crap is when a white person touches. They're the racists. They are the racists. Because white cops, it's wrong for a white cop to kill a black person, that's for sure. But if it matters, it should matter at all times. I am black. I've always wanted to be. I do what I want. You have the skills. This is a country where you have the skills. You want to do what you want. You do it. Stop forcing on people to accept that they're oppressed. They are not. I am not oppressed. I am black. Stop making people accept that they're oppressed. You're forcing a rhetoric into your mind, which is not true. That's my point. Okay. Violence is wrong, period. It's not about blacks. Of course. You agree that whites kill whites too, right? Of course. Have you seen any white person coming out and saying white life matter or white thing? No, violence is wrong. It's a violence problem. The blacks kill blacks in Come.
So there you go right there. All right. Now, the reason I let that all play, because, fair. I just want y'all get all the parts he's saying. First of all, this woman is not a so-called Negro. And the so-called Negro is not African. The so-called Negroes here in America, North America, Central America, Mexico, all right, in the Caribbean islands, those are Israelites. Those are Hebrew Israelites from the majority of Hebrew Israelites from the Southern Kingdom, and particularly in North America. All right. Those captives that came from West Africa are Israelites from the tribe of Judah. This woman right here is the people that sold those Israelite captives from West Africa. Her people help the Europeans, which they are the Edomites that the Bible speaks of. In that prophecy in Joel chapter 3, her people helped the Edomites, so-called Europeans, to sell the Israelites that was dwelling in West Africa. They raided it, they captured them, and they trade and sold them for money and essentials. Okay. See, that's what you don't understand, America Cholo. See, you don't know what's going on. And those people that own those slave ships, that ran this slave trade, were Jewish people. Jewish people. They are not the real Jews that the Bible speaks of. Okay? That's what they call themselves, Jewish. Like ish, my shoe is blackish, but it's not exactly black. All right. Nobody's the color. And another thing I want to address is nobody's the color of black. That is a false term. It's a byword that was put on the Israelites here in North America, particularly the tribe of Judah, so-called Negroes. OK, this woman, her people sold our people into slavery. All right. So your brothers from the tribe of Judah say, because you indigenous people of America, indigenous people of Mexico, you are from the tribe of Issachar. All right. So the Jewish people also is stealing your heritage. And like I said, American Cholo, you don't know what the hell's going on. All right. You don't know what's going on, man. All right. And see right here, Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. Okay. And there it says right here, it says Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, it says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, saying thou hast forgotten the law, thy power I will also forget thy church. Right. So our people destroyed, man. Our people been destroyed for lack of knowledge because we disobey the law, statute, commandments. And you're the result of that, American Cholo. You're destroyed, man. You don't know what's going on. You don't know who you are. Because Mexican, that's not a nationality. Black, that's not a nationality. Just because somebody had dark skin don't mean they're the same people. And you haven't done your homework. All right. Because let me get this scripture right here. All right. It says right here. It says Exodus chapter 11, verse 7. It says it said, because against any other children of Israel, this is when we was in Egyptian captivity, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, our ancestors were in Egyptian captivity. It said, but against any other children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know how Yahweh doth put a difference between Egyptian and Israel. All right, so Israel is different from the nation of Ham, so-called Africans, which that woman in that video, she was a Hamite. She wasn't a Hamite, all right, so-called African. She wasn't of Shemitic descent. She wasn't a so-called Negro. She wasn't an Israelite. Point blank, period, man. All right, and her people help our people to get captive, man. And matter of fact, you do your research, you'll find out that that when they brought the so-called Negro slaves over here, the Israelites from the Southern Kingdom, they took the Northern Kingdom, the indigenous people of America, and shipped them to the other side, man. You got a lot of people in over there in the west coast of Africa, man. Their paternal bloodline go back to indigenous men. But see, you're not gonna learn that in mainstream American education system, which you was educated in. All right. Because right here it says, let me get this book, which you could get offline. I advise you get the oldest edition you can, the Zonovan Compact Bible Dictionary. You look up the definition of Ham. And this is done by biblical scholars. But see, it's an old saying, if you want to have knowledge from a Negro, put it in a book. All right. It said Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. All right. That woman in that picture, most likely she's a Hamite. She's a descendant of one of these nations, the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites, man. All right. She's not a so-called Negro. She's not an Israelite. And the Negroes of the Americas are not Hamites, Africans. All right. Because those people that call themselves Jewish, all right, or Israeli, because Israeli means sentence in the modern day state of Israel, they don't feel not one prophecy in the Bible that marks them Israel, particular curses in Deuteronomy 28, basically Deuteronomy 28 and 68, when it says the children of Israel should go into Egypt again of ship. Egypt means spiritually talking about America, also means captivity. That didn't happen to them. That happened only to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. Because all you got to do, open up that same Bible. I don't know, I'm not going to assume, but most likely you grew up in the Catholic Church. You can still open up that book and look at those curses in Deuteronomy 28 and compare it to the history of the so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, lines up and it marks them as the children of Israel. And that's something your church kept from you. All right. Here in America and here back in Mexico. It said Revelation chapter 3, verse 9, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Who up in the synagogue? Who's saying they are Jews right now? Who's saying they are the true children of Israel? Those Jewish and those Israeli people. Because Israeli means citizen of the modern day state of Israel. When you look it up. Israelite means somebody who is connected from Jacob or descend from Jacob. And the so-called Negroes, Latino, Native American, we are descended from Jacob through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Abraham and Isaac, And Jacob names will change to Israel later. And Israel in pure Hebrew means Yahshua, mean he, prince of power. All right. It said, behold, I made them the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come worship before thy feet and to know that I love. This is coming from the one everybody ignorantly calls Jesus, who true name is Yahweh shall mean he is delivered. He's telling you that those people over there are not the real Jews. And these are the same people that owns the media. You go to Micah chapter 4:1, it says, when the real Jews turn to land, there shall be peace. There's no peace in that land. You know, I'm just going is just to show you that the so-called Negroes are not African Hamites. That woman is not our people, and we are the Israelite that the Bible speaks of. All right, and you know, also we don't control any damn thing, man. All right, those people perpetrate themselves. They're Jewish. They control the media. All right, it says right here. It said Micah chapter 4 verse 1. Get this clear. It said, but in the last days it shall come to pass. We live in the last days now, that the mountain house of your house shall be established, right? Mean Most High Kingdom, in top of mountains, right? Mean he should conquer the other kingdoms, the governments, and it shall be exalted above the hills, which stand for government. And people shall flow onto it, and many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his path. For the law shall go forth out of Zion, the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. And he shall judge many people and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshare, their spears to prune hoods. And nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. All right, so if they was the real Jews, the people that control the media, there'll be peace in that land. All right. There will be peace in that land, man. All right. You go right here, it says, well, another thing, because our people don't read, they put it on their own sites, man. All right. It says, I was just showing you, it said, what, Nigeria, this is from the JewishVirtualLibrary.org. All right. I'm talking about the Igbos are the Israelites. I'm just gonna go skip down here. All right, get this right. Showing the fact that that woman is not our people. All right, they the people that sold and traded us. It says right. It said persecution and trade have been the major influence factors how the Jews migrated through Africa. During the periods of Islamic persecution and for the purpose of trade, Jews moved from communities in Egypt, Ethiopia, Tunisia, Morocco to more remote regions of North and West Africa. Trade routes to West Africa may have been established as early as the period which David ruled Israel. And in turn, Tarshish, found in Tanakh, may refer to Ivory Coast Arab. All right, Tarshish basically talking about Spain. All right, so some of these things they going off. All right. Now, I don't know if they've been in, during the routes during West Africa, during David Town, I don't know about that, but, David did trade, right? He did have an alliance with the Canaanites, all right? But I don't know if they went deep into West Africa, but anyway. And in the 70 AD, when Jerusalem burned down, these Jews, these Israelites from the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, was because they ran into Africa, man, to hide what? From Roman persecution, man, to among another dark-skinned people. All right. And these people, 1,000 years later, could have took a period over 1,000 years to reach to West Africa. All right, these people that we ran amongst sold us. It said decline of Jewish communities of West Africa can be traced to the arrival of Muslim invaders in 14th and 15th century, the Arabs, man. All right, it said North and West African Jews banded with other local communities of Berbers, Christian, Greeks to ward off invaders, but eventually succumbed. Many were forced to convert to Islam, sold into slavery, or simply massacred. In the face of persecution, written traditions such as the Torah was lost. All right. The Igbo, being that Israel, though having no written evidence of Jewish heritage, maintain a strong oral tradition and practice many Jewish customs and secret records of these medieval Jewish community found in Timbuktu, Mali, Islamic library indicate the presence of Jewish family in the region before the arrival of Islam in the 1300s. Okay. And I got this book right here. All right. Igbo Israel. And comparing the Igbo and ancient Israel culture by Adol Magolu. All right. And you can see right here the chapters where he's comparing the ancient cousin Israel to Igbo custom. Igbo just one trade. Igbo, Fulani, Ashanti, all the tribes, man. Those are Hebrew Israelites. Those are Israelites. And you can see it right here in this book. He comparing the customs to everything, man. All right. Get this right here. Matter of fact, since you was so-called Mexican, get this right here. Because the first slaves actually came from Spain and Portugal. I'm just gonna, you can read this right here from this book, Black Crescent by Michael A. Gomez. All right. It says right here, I'll start right here. I'll just get to the point. It says, and it's talking about the first slaves that came over here. All right. It says their introduction was limited to the century of conquest. The slaves taken in Safi were the direct result of war against Islam, from which place the principal contingent was compared to the natives from Morocco and Fez, Moors, number of Israelites, Berbers, no word for Israelite, all right, Jews and Laurels, who passed to the West Indies in the company of their master settlers or conquerors on the common destination of white slaves, all right. They need to establish primacy of Santa Fe Cathedral led to the assurance of royal proclamation to either prohibit to expel so-called esclavos blancos in 1501. No, I'm not gonna read all that. All right, but the point is that these slaves, the first group of slaves that came from Spain to Portugal into the New Spain, New Mexico, to America, those were Israelites. Those were Israelites. Those people of Shemitic descent. All right. So that woman in video, she's not our people. Point blank, period, man. All right. And the people that control the media, all right, because you got on your site, what it says. It says when it says right here, when a brown man died, falls on deaf ears. All right. Why could the media controlled by who? Esau, man. These Jewish people, man. All right. The people that like to perpetrate the children of Israel. And you're going to see this chart. All right. And you could look this up, man. This who control Hollywood. This who control all the studios. All right. It says right here, who you think owns the press? Hello, Elon Musk. This is something he said, man, and people don't pay attention. When people like that, look, all these are Jewish people. All right, the difference between a Jewish means something like Jew means somebody who actually descends from the tribe of Judah or from the southern kingdom, Judah. What's this guy named? Sumer Rothstein, Les Moonves, David Rose, Bob Iger, the guy that owned Disney, love those Marvel movies, Ben Sherwood, Joel Golston. All right, it said CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, All right. So that's why when the Issachar man, so-called Mexican man, dies in the media, they don't report it. Why? Because they want control. It's about basically to continue the Willie Lynch mind control program. All right. If you don't know what Will Lynch is, Will Lynch, and he wasn't a real person. Will Lynch is a mind control program you could trace back to the Roman times, where they'll take the difference of basically they'll use the difference between slaves and put, even though the slaves come from the same nation, they pit the slaves against each other. If a slave got straight hair, got curly hair, or say got light skin or dark skin or round eyes, slanted eyes, they use that to make the slaves go against each other, man, to hate each other, man. And this the same thing going on in this situation, man. All right. Oh man, when a brown man dies, you know, nobody say anything. They'll put on the media. These people, they control the media, man. Also, you know, the tribe of Gad, so-called Native American, so-called Northern Native American brothers, man, they dying, getting shot in the street every day by the police, man. Nobody say anything. Why? Because these people are not reporting it. Now they'll report Judah, so-called Negroes. Not that they don't give a damn about it. They don't, you know, they don't give a damn about Judah, so-called. They just do it just to get ratings, man. They don't care about Judah, so-called Negroes. They don't care about none of the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They don't give a damn about us, man. They use us. All right, we're in captivity, man. If you got a social security number, you're in captivity. If you people making fun of you, making you sport mascots and all that, and they hell bent on not change that, you're in captivity, man. Point blank, period. All right, so there's no doubt about that, man. These, you know, and back then this book, The Forgotten Dead. All right, there's a lynching of Issachar, so-called Mexicans. And the same thing, the media back then was going on with the newspaper when they was lynching, because the so-called Mexicans, the tribe of Issachar, was number 2 behind getting number 2 of for second place, getting lynched behind the so-called Negroes. All right, and this proved they fit the curses that in Deuteronomy 2:8, marking them as Israel. All right, so this page 13, it says the sources prove much less complete use of studying Mexican lynching victims than they are for studying African American victims. All right, lynching victims, or even Anglo lynching victims of the American South, to begin with, published summaries of the data collected by DOJ divided lynching victims into 2 racial categories, black and white. All right, so it says no allowance was made for the fact that white category include Mexicans, Native American, Chinese, and a host of other African minorities who were not considered fully white by Anglo mobs that lynched them. For example, the Tuskegee reported mobs lynched 36 people in New Mexico between 1882 and 1968. 33 of these victims were listed as white, and the other 3 was listed as black. All right, the same thing going on with this media, man. All right, and nobody Mexican and African American, man. We're the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, man. Those bad words, and they're insulting. All right, being called black, Mexican, that's an insult, man. That's a straight up insult. All right. So the same thing going on. These people, they control the media, man. These group of people. That's why when a so-called brown man, an Issachar man, all right, an Israelite, all right, when he dies in media, it goes on deaf ear because these people control the narratives. All right. A lot of Gadite women, because you know, so-called Native American from tribe of Gad, a lot of their women come up missing, murdered, kidnapped. Rape. All right. In North Dakota, South Dakota, the Edomite men so-called white men coming down every day, they raping the women, man. But nobody reports it. Nobody does anything, man. All right, because these people are not reporting it. All right, so that's what's going on, American Cholo, man. All right, that's what's going on, man. These people pitting the 12 tribes of Israel against each other, man. The whole riots, everything, all that's set up by them, man. It's set up by them. All right. All these riots and everything, and it's set up by them, man. So they could establish their new world order, man. So they could chip everybody. All right. And the chip is the mark of the beast in Revelation chapter 13. All right. So that's what's going on, man. It's basically a major mind freak. All right. To establish a new world order. That's what's going on, man. All right. Because they trying to upset the prophecy of the Northern Kingdom, the Southern Kingdom. The Northern Kingdom are so-called Latinos and Native Americans. All right. I'm from the Northern Kingdom myself, man. All right. And the Southern Kingdom are the so-called Negroes and West Indians. All right. To keep them divided together, man, because they know the end is near, man. That's what's going on. The end of the rulership of the Edomites is coming to the end. And the Heavenly Father gonna stab his government on here. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means he is. His son name is Yahweh Shai, mean he is deliverer, man. That's what's going on. The downfall of the Edomites, so-called European, and the upliftment of the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and the speckled birds. So, shalom.